And Biden's executive order could pay off politically across 8 pivotal swing states. If you get really close to your television, you can see there are hundreds of thousands of American citizens living with an undocumented immigrant. So in Arizona, for example, 134,000, the 2020 vote margin, 10,000. Wisconsin, 28,000, 20,000 vote margin. North Carolina, 95,000. In each one of these swing states, there are enough people living with an undocumented migrant to totally change the election. Totally change it. Here's the president making the political, not the policy, pitch.
When he calls immigrants, in his words, animals. When he was president, he separated families and children at the border. And now he's proposing to rip spouses and children from their families and homes and communities and place them in detention camps. He's actually saying these things. It's hard to believe it's being said, but he's actually saying these things out loud. And it's outrageous.
We're in crazy season right now. Donald Trump will say crazy and crazier things. Joe Biden will spin them to be even crazier and crazier. Kurt Bardella is actually nodding along to something I'm saying. But Americans, and scaring Americans about Trump right now, really is Biden's only hope. With us now, Scott Tranter, head of data science for Decision Desk HQ, and the man nodding along, Democratic strategist Kurt Bardella, also NewsNation contributor. This is what I can't figure out. Who was not already voting for Joe Biden, or a better way of putting it, who was going to vote for Donald Trump yesterday, and today saw Joe Biden offer this plan, this executive order, still could be challenged in court, and said, you know what, now I'm voting for Biden.
Well, maybe someone who right now is undocumented and therefore not eligible to vote, who because of this may now be able to vote and therefore will...
I don't think they can vote in this election under this.
Well, in that case, then no one. But I think it's about getting the base to turn out. Like after the executive orders talking about immigration enforcement that many on the left were unhappy about, this throws them a bone to kind of mollify them, give them a little, hey, look, I'm doing something that you guys should like. Keep the enthusiasm a little bit higher, because again, this election is going to be decided by who can get their side to turn out. If there is a drop in their base on either side, that's the ball game.
Is it really a base election, or is it who can convince swing voters that are upset about inflation and immigration and crime, Scott, to vote?
Well, if its turnout's less than 2020, it's a base election. 2020 was an extremely high turnout election. We don't expect it to be that high, so then it is, as you said, it's getting those small slices of voters to swing your way. Voters like independents, voters like suburban women, voters like Hispanic and African-American voters. All these are the contested segments that both campaigns are going after.
All right, so Geraldo was on with Elizabeth Vargas earlier about this issue about deporting groups of Americans. 63% of Americans say they want mass deportation of every illegal immigrant. 53% of Americans who are Hispanic agree with that. Here's Geraldo.
When the first group is rounded up and brought to a detention camp, then let's poll the American people on whether or not they think it's appropriate. When husbands are snatched from their family bedroom, and the children are crying about daddy, who's been here for over 10 years and has worked in the community, is known, everyone knows Jose, he's this, he's that, he's our neighbor. Well, let's see if that ruthlessness, that harshness, that selfishness will sustain.
All right, so there's a lot of emotion on this. I think he has a point when it comes to deporting a guy who's lived here for 15 years and is married to an American and has 2 kids and on and on. The flip side of that argument, right, is the Ecuadorian migrant charged with raping a 13-year-old. Christian Giovanni Inga Landi, 25, from Ecuador, charged with rape, sexual abuse, robbery, kidnapping, possession of a weapon, menacing, unlawful imprisonment, and not only that, was then chased down and beaten and detained by Good Samaritans. So what is a more powerful motivator, Scott, when we poll this? Is it fear of crime from these mass waves of undocumented, unknown military-age males, or the heartstrings of, to use Geraldo, Jose being deported?
Interestingly enough, it's both. And it is a timing thing, right? Like, we see crime linked with immigration, especially whether it's right or wrong is a different question. People are perceiving that to be linked, and crime is an issue that people perceive to be a top 5 issue. We can argue about the stats and whether it is or not, but this is what people perceive. As Geraldo pointed out, we saw this on Ilian Gonzalez, 25, 30 years ago. There's a lot of people.
Were you even alive 25 or 30?
I'm a political nerd, man. I was watching that stuff. But
this was the kid who was brought from Cuba to the United States by one parent and then returned to Cuba.
And it was a critical issue in the 2000 election, and simply because of what side you're on and whether you deport him or bring him back. And as Geraldo pointed out, when you have those images, it does evoke. It evokes an emotion, and it may change people's minds.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.